G'day and welcome to episode 35 of the Early Crow, a papless episode. P-Rat, Roycey stepping up into sort of right in the guts. He reckons he's done it before. You tell me. I don't think he has. And I'm going to be right behind him on this week's episode and hope you guys enjoy it too. This week's episode brought to you by Makita. Step up to the next generation of professional cordless power tools with Makita XGT 40 volt and 80 volt max. Right now, get your hands on some amazing bonuses when you purchase selected Makita XGT kits and combos. Limited time only, offer via redemption. See makita.com.au for details. Makita XGT, more intelligent, more efficient, more power, more
Makita.
Pratty, how are you, big man?
Yeah, good, mate, good. I definitely have done a few episodes. That's your short-term memory loss kicking in, I reckon, there. I think you and I punched out an episode, and I've done one with Paps as well. But yeah, that's all good, mate. You just
which one did you prefer?
Look, if I don't say you, you're gonna steer me into a few bad angles here. So I'm gonna have to say you. No, it was good. It was good doing both. Yeah, you're both talented at different things. So yeah, no, it was good.
All right, he's going to sit on the fence early, punters.
Yep,
Paps on the bye, having a week off, deserved. 10-1, the Swans lost, only coming to Richmond on a hazy, smoky MCG that day when the sun was really blaring. Might be Richmond's only win too, so a real weird one there. But geez, they were good against the Bulldogs. When I say good, Pratty, they weren't like at their very best, but they just did enough like good teams do to get the job done. Doggies on a quick back up, lost a couple of key players during the game. Did get a lot of help, sort of getting flashbacks, bit of PSD to the 2016 grand final with some of the free kicks. But the Swans got a 50-metre penalty late and that evened it up, did it? Come on, turn it up. I thought they were great, and the Chad just finds he went to new levels of Etihad, or Marvel, as it's now known, with that big hanger. But geez, he was good again.
Yeah, he was unreal, wasn't he? I think is there going to be a problem when it comes to the Brownlow that him and Heaney are going to be taking votes off each other, and they might both get unlucky. But fuck, he kicked 3 goals and 3 goals and 4 goals and had 25 touches, and I think there was a 30-touch game in there the last 3 weeks. He's as he said the other week, that sprint training's definitely working for him, hey?
Yeah, I saw a thing on Insta where Dan Gorringe was reading out his draft notes, and it said he's not that explosive, not that quick. Yep.
No explosive power, and doesn't have a penetrating kick. They couldn't be two more opposites, could they?
Do you reckon that bloke still got a job?
Probably.
If he was in the racing industry, he would. Don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I would assume so. They're allowed to get them wrong every now and again, aren't they?
Well, not really. Like, if they give me the mail on who I'm going to draft, like, to get it that wrong. Like, he went pick 39.
It's unbelievable to think that, isn't it? That somebody of that quality, and he clearly must have shown a bit to slide that far in the draft. You just don't know. But I suppose there's some kids that just are freaks at junior level and play really well in TSC Cup, but just don't make it that next step, eh?
As a Swans fan, certainly not worried about the Brownlow. The only thing I'm worried about is the articles that are sort of drifting out now. Firstly, we've got to worry about Will Howard, and now, we're just adding zeros to Chad's contract. He's young, got him, Errol. We're talking dynasties. And, Hungry Jacks and the West Coast Eagles are sniffing around already, and it makes me nervous.
Yeah. Wouldn't they love somebody with a few of their youngsters they've got in their side to add in somebody like a Chad to just take them to the next level as well? Imagine Reid feeding the ball out to Warner, but that's something you probably don't want to think about.
What I would say to Chad is I don't think Harley likes to handball too much unless he's getting it back, and that's sort of Chad's go. I'd rather go head-to-head against him if I was Chad, and that's what I hope he does.
You've been trying to downplay Hayward as much as possible on this podcast. Hey, are we allowed to finally start talking about him, or do you think that we've got such a large audience now that that's going to have a big impact on his next contract?
Well, look, my fear is, there's someone, at Port or at the Crows listens in and values our opinions, and we just want to keep that on that.
Yeah.
But
No, fair enough.
Yeah. If he was a yearling, though, I'd say he's going to make overs. And then the question is, like it would be for any young athlete, do you take the overs, or do you try and be part of a big dynasty with your mates in Sydney when you're from Adelaide? I don't know. Would you rather be underrated or overpaid? I think Jay-Z said that once. You'd know better than me with your little sort of.
I know some out wide stuff. That's not one of my forte, so I can't help you there.
Would you rather be overpaid or underrated? And I'm taking overpaid every day of the week.
Yep.
You?
Yeah, I think in a sport where your time is limited and you could get injured, definitely take overpaid.
What about Brisbane Lions? Where are they at? How bad are they? Is their season over?
I don't think they'll be making an impact in the finals. They may get there with a few home games and them playing well. I do think Hawthorn are improving all the time under Sam Mitchell, but geez, they're not holding up, are they? They're not doing. I thought they were going to do well again this year, and that they've seriously surprised me with how bad they've been going.
Did you see? It might have been Kane Corns talk about how deadly Hawthorn are at the clearance and like the ground ball.
No, I didn't see it. What did he say?
Just like that, structurally, they're getting it so right around a contest, and when it hits the ground, they're just really potent. And when they start, if they can maintain and improve that, and then get some actual big thickies up forward or back.
Yep.
Basically, sort of giving them a big tick for that they're well on track, as compared to, your Norths,
yep.
St Kildas, who look like they're like completely cast.
Yeah, have you seen the size of Connor Nash for Hawthorn as well? They do have a couple of big operators in the midfield. I think he's 6'4" or 6'5". He's an enormous human being, and the pickup of Lloyd Meek for Hawthorn as well has been a massive addition for them. They're starting to halve and win some taps in the ruck, which obviously when you get your hands first on it, we saw on Thursday night and Friday night. When you get the clearance, it makes it a lot easier once you kick the goal to be able to score again and score quickly.
It's good to see also the AFL just enforcing respect for umpires there in Perth. I mean,
how happy did that make you on Friday?
Oh, extremely. and when you like, I didn't watch it, to be honest. I went to bed or I did something else, but you wake up and you see it on Twitter and you just assume, or X, and you just assume that must have been like the last kick of the game because it's turned the match. Like how the umpires have turned that match. Oh no, hang on. It was about 6.5 minutes to go.
Yep.
Any other football club, it's a bad decision, but did it turn the game? No.
Agreed. They love beating it up, and there's only one team that beat themselves on the weekend, and that was Collingwood. Some of the shots we had a goal and missed, we just didn't put any scoreboard pressure on it. You could just feel the momentum starting to change to Freo's way, and whilst the free kick's there, I suppose, in the rules, I'm definitely not denying it, but it couldn't have come at a worse time when the momentum was starting to shift, and then Freo were all over us, and credit to them to get out of that and get a draw. That's definitely, I don't care what anyone says, that's not Collingwood taking 2 points away. That's losing 2 points and Freo gaining 2 points on Friday night. I was fuming.
I don't know if I'm disagreeing with the carry on was ridiculous, but it made sense. The decision made more sense to me if it was like near the end of the game because they were time wasting.
Yep.
Whereas like when I actually saw the clock, I think Collingwood do time waste and they do a good job of it. It's professional. Yep. But 6 minutes to go.
Yeah, and I think what you said is right there, which is completely opposite to what everybody else is saying. If you're deliberately wasting time, especially when the game is starting to swing and there's starting to be momentum go the other way, that's the perfect time to pay those free kicks. Do I think they should be paid all the way throughout the game? Absolutely, but a lot of the media are talking about, why would you pay it in that pivotal moment just to get involved? Well, it's like, well, no, if they're actually wasting time at that point in time, that's the perfect time to pay those free kicks to ensure that the game continues to flow on.
Mm. Where do you think Collingwood's at?
Injuries are killing us. That Joe Richards, who came from Wangaratta, he's been playing unbelievable. He's now done his foot, I think it was. Mychek's gone down again. Dicko's going to be out for another 3 to 4 weeks. And not that I think he's been much good, but Mason Cox also got injured on Friday night. Our injuries are just keep piling up on us. I think we should finish bottom 8, I hope. It gives you a chance. You've got to be there to have a crack, but
You mean
we're
top
going to
8?
need... bottom of the top 8, I should say. So we'll finish fifth to 8th, which gives us an opportunity to do something in finals, but I just think the injuries are mounting too quickly, and I also when big swings like that happen in games, and it happened a little bit in the Essendon game, I just don't like when the momentum swings against you that quickly. Like Freo went from not being able to move the ball, so they dominated us. I'm pretty sure it was in the first quarter. Second and third quarter, we got all the momentum back and started moving the ball well and doing all these things well. And when it came to crunch time, the momentum swung against us. So I really don't like seeing that in your football side. A bit the opposite to what the Swans did on the weekend. On Thursday night, they were able to wrestle the momentum back and hold off and then get over the top of the Dogs. I hate it when it goes the other way, so I'm not too optimistic at the moment.
One of the positives, I guess, is that you've been to Perth, so you probably got like 2 more interstate trips this year.
Yeah, I think have we been to Brisbane already as well? So yeah, we're probably only
that's probably 2 of the 4. You got Magic Round, so maybe 3 or 4 interstate trips are done.
Yeah, and we've probably got one more trip to Marvel. That's a mile from the Holden Centre, so
3.2 k's, I think. Yeah,
class that as an away game as well. So yeah, it's stacking up against us. But we've got the Doggies on Friday night. They were pretty impressive. Yeah, we need to win. They were good.
There's a bit of a I reckon it was like a really honourable, good loss. Like they'll take a lot out of it. I think Sydney's obviously the measuring stick now, and they stuck it to them. I think like Essendon bounced off a good loss to Sydney.
Yep.
And it really set them up to like, you know what, we're not that far away.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it might feel like we are, but we're actually not that far away. We really pushed that side.
Yeah.
And I think the Dogs, I despise them because they, beat us in that grand final in 2016. I don't know who I'll be going for.
Who do you hate more?
Yeah, that's a big call.
Might be a toss of the coin.
I think it'd be let's go Doggies.
Yeah, fair enough. Thought you might say that.
Probably.
I was hoping for a Sydney GWS dismantling of the Dogs last week, so they would come in absolutely ruined and season over. But they did perform pretty well. The only thing that we can hope for is I think the Doggies. I think we've got the bye next week. I think, or maybe it's the week after. I don't like teams going to bye sometimes. I think they can be thinking a little bit too much about
the
a holiday.
boys might sort of have their mind on what they're planning to do.
Correct.
On the bye weekend, you reckon?
100%. Maybe a couple of golf days and things like that.
Yeah, wonder. Yeah.
Would you take much else out of this week in the AFL? Do you watch any more games?
I'm worried about Geelong.
Yeah.
I can't figure out GWS. I think there'll be a bit of a frustrating side to play against in a way, because you might there's going to be sort of it feels sort of like from third, second, almost on the ladder down to 10th or 12th right now. It's pretty competitive, and you might run into the Giants on an off day and like the Dogs and go good and get a win.
Yep.
Or the Cats run onto them at home and they're on and they knock you off, and it's a pretty big swing. So I think their best is real good. I'm worried about Geelong. I feel sorry for St Kilda fans. They suck, and I reckon they're like almost as far off it as North Melbourne are.
Yeah.
Or if they're closer to it, that I reckon they've actually got less chance of getting to the summit. They can maybe just hang around base camp sort of thing. Whereas at least North are so bad that they're going to be so stacked, you'd hope. I like how Essendon's going about it.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good win. I know it was Richmond, but they were challenged, and Richmond were good, and they got the job done. They got
it was the same as what you. Sorry, it was the same as what you said about the Swannies getting over the Dogs. Like sometimes you're going to get those games where a team comes out and they perform really well that you might expect to beat, and just actually getting those 4 points is enormously valuable. Like they'll take a lot out of a big game MCG Saturday night against an enemy, being able to get that win, I think you're 100% right. I think it will set them up for success going forward. And I mean, they're second on the ladder now. Like, they're half a game clear of Port Adelaide. It's they don't have the best percentage, but if they're able to get a few good wins, I think they might be the one that sneaks into the top four at the expense of a Collingwood or a Carlton or something like that, which you definitely wouldn't have picked at the start of the year.
I thought they got carved up at the contest, the bits I watched, which worries me about them. Like when it gets heavy and big in the big games. But yeah, I'd rather be them. I am actually like, I'll be selling my stock in Collingwood. Here's why. They have to, like, you listen to it, like anything you listen to, that's like they compare them to the 2019 Tigers when they had injuries.
Yep.
And they have to just win these next, like, over the next 6 weeks. They've got to win the 3 really tough, close games and, get out of their 4-2 sort of thing. But they've got, like, a really, like, lopsided list. So, like, Steel Sidebottom and Pendlebury, if we were running that club, they're going to have, like, some time off and be, like, looked after. You got that one ruckman now. They're all going to just get, like, grinded into the ground to keep you guys relevant and in the window. And like, they were huge for you in the finals, those two, particularly the older boys.
Yeah.
I think the injury to Goey, who's probably, I reckon, your most important player, more so than Dacos, because he's deadly when he gets it.
Yeah, I agree.
That injury sounds like it's risky, but then he might sort of put on, like, lose condition.
Yeah, I don't know. If you get an injury to your abs, you can't really do too much. I can't think that he'd be doing too much gut running or too much weights in the gym. Like, if you've done an abdominal muscle, like that, you need to actually just full blown rest and recovery. When he comes back in, he might take a little bit of time to get up to full speed.
Yeah. Like, you just much rather... I'd rather them if Cox was going through the ruck and Cameron was having 4 weeks off and sort of resting while recovering, but, getting him ready for the back end of the year. Yeah, I'm worried about him, but I enjoyed it at the same time.
I got posed a question, actually, before we jump off AFL, which I think would be a really good talking point.
Does it involve the mop? The broom?
It doesn't involve the mop.
Juzzy is good again.
He was good. I got a question for you. Who's your favourite all-time Swan then?
Adam Goods.
Adam Goods,
Paul Kelly, probably Paps. Loved Nick Davis when I was young.
Yeah, love that. Well, one of these blokes comes up in this list. I got asked at work the other day, rank these players from 1 to 5. So 1 being
my
best.
rankings would be different to my favourites.
Yeah, okay. Well, this will be really good to see then. So rank these footballers in their prime and who you would take in your side. You got Ablett Jr., Chris Judd, Bucks, Michael Voss, and Adam Goods. Who would you take 1st through 5th in their absolute prime?
I think Voss gets undervalued because are we talking about like the game today?
Oh, like
when Voss was
AFL?
at his absolute peak, it was rougher and slower, and he was thicker and stronger. So like he's going to be a bit like he's not as valuable in 2024 as he was in 2005.
Let's go a happy medium then. Let's go like 2010-ish football. So can still be physical, but the element of protecting players was coming in a lot more than it is now.
Yeah, Adam Goods comfortably number 1. Comfortably.
Why?
He's unique. He can play centre-half forward, centre-half back, ruck. He can row full forward. Like, if I'm going 1-for-1 versus you or someone else picking these players, or I'm kind of happy I don't have to pick between, like, Ablett Jr. and Judd. I'll just take the other one.
Yep.
Whereas there's only one Adam Goods. So Adam Goods, Chris Judd, probably Voss, then Junior, then Buckley.
Yep. I'd have to be reasonably similar. I'd have to take Judd number 1. I love that type of player that he could either go in and get his own footy and run straight out the middle of a stoppage, and or be on the outside receiving it and delivering it wherever he wanted to. Goods could do a very similar thing, but I think from a pure, more midfield point of view, and I love watching midfielders play footy, I think I'd have to pick Chris Judd. I reckon, Judd, Ablett Jr., Goods, Voss, Bucks, but I think no matter which order you put those 5 in, there's reasons why you're going to be right and reasons why you're going to be wrong, because they are 5 of the most elite
if you did it just off their
time.
resumes, it's probably Voss, Ablett Jr., Judd, Goods, along to Buckley. Jesus. Is that what they called him? Son of God?
So. Son of God,
Baby Jesus Ablett Jr. 2 Brownlows, 2 premierships, no norms. Normless. Chris Judd, 2 Brownlows, 1 premiership, 1 norm.
Pretty sure he stole one of those Brownlows off Swanee as well, from memory.
Also, he had to play, when he was in the really good sides, he was playing with Kerr and Cousins, who were magnets as well.
Oh, how good was that side, by the way?
Wasn't that good. Only won 1 comp.
True.
Buckley, 1 Brownlow, shared, so like a third of a Brownlow. 0 premierships, and 1 Norm Smith. Voss, 0 Norm Smiths.
Yeah. He played well in those finals too.
Remember when Scotty Burns lined him up, dropped him, and he just rose, immediately rose, and he fed Simon Black, and Simon Black didn't even, just slotted it, and then Vossi was straight into Burnsy, and that was game set.
Silky operator, Simon Black. He is
but underrated the silk of Voss and his hands.
Yeah, agreed. Voss was one of those blokes that just, you'd love to play footy with him because he'd just do anything for your team.
For him. You'd just love to play for him.
Yeah. What a weapon.
Yeah.
What a man.
Yeah, if you look back at the captains of the last 30 years and we had to go to war, I want to be in Vossi's platoon.
100%.
Sign me up.
Because there is nothing that you have to do that he won't do. He'll do whatever needs to be done.
He'll make you feel safe.
Yeah, 100%.
Adam Goods, 2 Brownlows and 2 premierships and 0 norms.
So you said a third of a Brownlow for Bucks, so 1 1/3 Brownlows for Goods as well, right?
Yep.
All right, sweet. That's all right.
Fair.
As long as it goes both ways, that's good.
Yeah, well, Goods probably stiff in the Norm Smith department too.
Big game finals player, eh?
He was very good in 2012. Very, very good on one knee as well. So,
I watched the Stan documentary on Goods not that long ago, and I reckon I probably didn't appreciate how big he actually was as a human. He was an enormous unit,
and he was very he was at the tippy top when we're talking about Voss and Buckley, and then he was at the tippy top when you're talking about Judd.
Yeah, longevity.
In 2003, that might have been the year he won his first Brownlow, actually. But he deserved it. He played ruck and he was like a rover. He was very, very hard to compete against. He was our best player. I just love him. Adam Goods, everybody.
I'm just going to check that. Yeah, 2003, first Brownlow. That is correct.
Yeah, the Swans got beaten at Homebush, the Olympic Stadium, in a prelim by the Lions in a close game. Adam Snyder on the wing when the game was in the balance. He he led up to the ball and it had gone a foot out of bounds on the full, and he just double fisted it into the grandstand, and it was a 50-metre penalty. I still remember it. All about that. Yeah.
How old were you at that stage?
2003, 15.
Yeah. So
16.
when it really hurts. When it really, really hurts.
Oh, man, it was the worst night of my life. I remember it.
Yep. I was
hollow.
12, 13 and 14. Or 12 and 13 when we got done. And just ripping the heart out of a young
I was
kid.
going for Collingwood in those grand finals, though, because Nick Davis played for him.
Yeah, okay. Love it.
They put Ashcroft on him.
That would have been the last time you've ever gone for Collingwood, wouldn't it?
Yep. I used to love Collingwood back then. Tarrant.
Yeah.
Big pipes. big. That I don't know. Was he a trivia question for me for the early crow or for my mailbag clients?
I think it was
Big
the mailbag
McKee.
clients. Yeah.
The backup to Josh. He was a gun.
I think it was the mailbag clients, correct.
Paul Cura used to just like run him into the ground, rack up 35, 40 touches.
Yeah. It was a good
Who
side.
else do you have? Leon.
Tarkin Lockyer.
O'Brien. Gun.
Bruzel. Yep.
Underrated.
Neon Leon.
You had a gun like small forward. I used to love him.
Leon
like
Davis.
Half back, half forward sort of.
Alan
I think
Dynack.
yeah, had Alan. I think you had Alan. You had Ben Johnson,
Yep.
Pendergrass, and Clements.
Yep.
With the big thickies down back.
And Simon Prestigiu a cameo.
Tarkin Lockyer.
Yeah.
Was it Brody Holland?
Yeah, Brody Holland played. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway.
Didn't
We
win a comp.
digress.
What should we do now? Ponies?
Yeah. Let's dive in, mate.
Eyes on Ponies is brought to you by CTW Excavations. Tide Access Solutions. Excavator, skid steer, tipper, auger hole driller, driveways, drainage, general welding, metal art plus signage. Instagram, CTW.excavations. Tell him the early crow sent you, offer him a dimmy, and try and bum a dart. It was a big weekend at Royal Sandown, God's Carpet. Let's hope they don't ever sell it because it does a truckload of work for the Victorian thoroughbred industry. And I reckon punters are a little bit more confident betting on it than, say, Pakenham, which would be the replacement joint for it. And given the whole game is held up from wagering, it would probably be smart to keep a joint that the punters like to bet at.
That's a scary proposition, isn't it? Thinking about transferring majority of those meetings to a Pakenham track as compared to running at a Sandown, Lakeside or Hillside.
Or upping the workload to Caulfield, who wouldn't be able to handle it.
Yeah.
Or the 27-year-old Moonee Valley track, which you're about to renovate.
I'll lob you one up. How excited were you in the last at about the 300 metres on the recently purchased Windstorm for the Mailbag Bloodstock group?
Got out there to the races, met a bunch of our new owners. You'd like it. I was in a suit. That was a bit scary, to be honest. The anxiety kicked in. I love racing horses, and I love the business. And I feel like a good amount of pressure to deliver results for the people that trust like my judgment and back me in and buy a horse with me.
Yeah.
So I'm already a bit like jittery. And then I go to have a shower I don't like to have a shower too early on a Saturday, often not able to. Might try and jam one in real early before now I've got Auskick into ballet.
I'm glad you clarified that because I've spoken to you multiple times where you've been like, mate, I'll call you back. I've got to go and have a shower. Dicko,
sometimes
it's 2:30 in the afternoon. Juzzie's having lunch.
If I haven't showered by the first, say 2 races, and I hit the first 2, I start thinking, well, fuck, if I have a shower, am I going to change like the doo-doo of this? Like, I don't want to ruin the vibe and whatever's going on in this universe. I want to keep it like
keep that momentum going.
Blinkers
on.
But I had to have a shower. And we did start hot. Nailed the first 3 or 4 races at Sandown. Big edges. But fuck, the anxiety out of nowhere just hit me because I actually recently got all my suits, half of my suits are hand-me-downs from my brother because he's a bit more of a, look at me, operator. So he rolls through the suits more than I do. I got them all dry cleaned. I don't have a stack of shirt options. And, I don't remember the last time I exercised. And I got out of the shower and I was like, fuck, imagine if I can't fit into this fucking thing or the pants burst.
Were you all good?
I operate at 84 kilos and have done since the age of 18, regardless of anything I do. But I reckon if I got on the scales today, I'd be about 88. Maybe 90. I got into them, but it was tight. And anyone out there, any man out there, I think would appreciate, when you got to get into the car, we've got a nice Ford Everest that you can sort of pull yourself up into, or the other car's the little Volkswagen that you got to lower yourself into. Of course, She made me take the Volkswagen. So as you're lowering yourself in, you kind of... What I do is I stretch them just to test them. You know, I'd rather it burst out the front than at the races, which has happened to me before. Shout out to Swanee. We were at the races one day. She was racing a horse with me and the zipper went then. I think it was Swanee.
What do you do to a squat in the bedroom just to make sure that they've got a bit of durability about them?
A little like sort of hammy stretch in the bedroom and really just like lower yourself aggressively into the car out the front. If it survives that, I think you're going to be okay for the day. And it was a glorious day. The sun was shining. It was a beautiful Victorian Saturday.
Yeah.
Footy was on. The races was a good crowd out there at Sandown. Horse went enormous. At about the 300, I thought, fucking hang on a second. In run, race 10, so we knew exactly how the track was going to race. And about the 1,000, I thought, fucking hell, we're right in the slot here.
Yeah.
We were 3 wide, no cover, but we're still in the slot.
Yeah.
Turns out we towed the winner into the race. It ran past us, beat us by a length, but we ran second. He won, I think, 27,000 in prize money. First run for us. I paid 50 for him, so we're halfway home already. And he, off the data post race, he looks like he's going to make a fair bit of money for those who decide to race that horse with us. That's Windstorm, trained by Gavin Bedgegood, and he's going to be in for a very nice preparation, I think.
For the punters at home, when most likely, obviously, barriers and jockeys and how tracks are racing come into it, is he going to potentially set to pick second, third up? When can the punter at home potentially look to have a little wager?
Second and third up would be the time to have a bet on him, I think.
Yep.
We stripped all the gear off him on Saturday, so we can apply some of that slowly as he warms into his prep. But he is a get-back-ish sort of run-on horse, and that's not always going to be where you want to be on a day. It turned out on Saturday, by that stage of the day, it was a good place to be.
Yeah.
But if he had drawn inside, I think he still would have run third or fourth.
Yeah.
He went well. He's going good.
Yeah. What else took your eye on Saturday?
I thought Golden Path up in Sydney was probably the best performance all weekend. 4-year-old Price and Kent, nice horse. They're sort of, I think, figuring it out now. First time to 2,000 metres. Soft track seemed to suit. I think it's a pretty nice horse. It's a group horse for sure. I really like this Matriarch Rose. Dan O'Sullivan trains. She's a 4-year-old mare. She was 3 wide, almost 4 wide at stages, no cover the whole way there on Saturday at Sandown. Ran a big number overall. And
that was early-ish in the day as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it wasn't as advantaged to be in that spot.
Yeah, I think she'll win a group race. I think so. She beat a mare called Great Taste, maybe.
Yep.
Mick Price trains in the Jayco Silks. So she beat a mare called Great Taste. Now, Great Taste got beaten by a horse, a mare called Maracana. It's a 5-year-old. Danny O'Brien trains. Maracana went up and won a Group 3 at Doomben on Saturday. Ran a really nice number, 10.4 on my scale. So I think that's sort of, you can tie that in pretty comfortably. Matriarch Rose is probably going to win a group race. There's a horse you can follow, more so probably into the spring.
Yeah. I think the market showed a little bit of support to that as well. That always it's always nice when you back a horse like that and you see the market come in late with the last 5 minutes. It reassures you that you've potentially played into the right horse and that you are on the right path.
The Black Clouds, a 3-year-old Seamus Award filly, Joe Pride trains up in Sydney. Now, Seamus Award won a Cox Plate and Australian Cup, so they're 2,000 metre races at the highest level in Victoria. Most of his progeny, so like the horses that he is the father of, get out over a trip, so 1,600 to 2,000 metre horses, sometimes further.
Right.
This horse won over 1,000 metres. Fastest last 600 of the whole day. I think she's very, very exciting. That's the Black Cloud for Joe Pride. They're probably the 3 sort of interesting horses. I thought Valley King and Varane for Paddy Payne are probably 2 nice horses you can probably put in your black book, Pratty, that you might be able to make a little bit of money out of.
Yep.
Yeah, that's probably racing and Sandown as a whole. You got anything else to add to racing or questions
Yeah,
to
I do,
ask?
mate. How good was the Saturday set from the boys in Sydney? Seeing them
Unbelievable.
like
I mean,
beach balls.
we didn't even know where he was.
Yep.
And somehow, Thomas Papley and MJ Pratt have combined, obviously with my oversight, guys, if you're listening, but the credit must go to them for one of the great Sydney sets we've ever seen at the Early Crow. It was fat. It'll be up on our socials again next Saturday. But it became a piss take sort of towards the end, didn't it? And to be fair to me, at Sandown, I mean, the biggest bet was at $4 or $3.80. It was a horse called Highlights, 800 metre race, and it ran a fucking sub 11 section from the front of the 200. Unfortunately, Craig knew it had taken it that far back that he wasn't able to catch the leader, despite going sub 11. So Black Caviar would have gone about that speed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think Sydney was roughly like about 5.25 out, and it was about 28 back in, plus a $200 quaddy into 1100. So can't go wrong for a little Saturday fill up from the boys.
Highlight of the week, Pratty? Anything good happen to you?
Probably not so much good. We've got a little one on the way. We went to a infant first aid course on Sunday. Something that I was dreading's not the right word, but I definitely wasn't in the frame of mind to get up early on a Sunday morning and drive from my joint down the northwest suburbs to Chadstone of all places.
Just drive to Seaford. I'll teach you everything you need to know.
Oh, yeah. Parenting 101 from you, is it? But yeah, no, we did that. That was on Sunday morning, mate. Actually, for any expectant parents and or somebody that just wants to get brushed up in a little bit of first aid, it was 4 hours, but I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. It was I learned a few things that I didn't know and ways to look after to infants and children. So no, I thoroughly enjoyed myself on Sunday morning. What about yourself? Have you got any stories about you disappointing Darcy on the weekend, or?
Well, he was shattered when he couldn't come to the races. He said, "Dad, why are you dressed good?" I was like, "I'm going to the races. I've got to go to work." He said, "Oh, I want to come. I said, "You can't, mate." But I just have to commit time to kicking the footy with him now. He's obsessed. Yeah. Obsessed. And
that's
we got
awesome.
to... Our PB was 9 coming in Saturday for kick to kick, can't hit the ground.
Yep.
He's only 4. He's only been playing for a month. So I'm happy with where he's at. 24 yesterday. 24.
Wow,
Mm.
He's dominating the little fella.
And then the 25th one, he booted onto the roof.
So he's got a bit of power behind him as well.
Oh, he doesn't know what's happening.
Yeah,
it's kind of like he's hitting with a graphite shaft. Doesn't know what ball he's hitting. Could explode. Could go nowhere.
How obsessed are they with the AFL on the TV at the moment? Then, if they're going to Auskick every morning on a Saturday,
he comes out here and wants to watch Swans replays all the time, which is positive, I think, for my life. I don't know if we should say this. You saw the video the other night, or the other Sunday night. Generally, my kids will watch whatever Dad's watching, and I'll tell them who we're going for, and it's normally to do with who I've bet on. And
fins up.
Yeah, Paps and I rode the fins at the end of Magic Round, and Lenny and Das were all aboard the fin train that night.
Love that.
So they'll watch a bit of rugby league if we have to. They'll do whatever's required, just to make sure
rugby league. How's some of the results over the weekend?
Unbelievable.
I can't believe some of the blowouts. I can't believe some of the scores that are being put on. Usually in the AFL, when it starts to get a little bit wet and dewy, the scores go the other way. They start to decrease, but I can't believe some of the score lines that are being put up at the moment.
Well, they got a better ball to play with in the wet, for one.
Yeah.
But you want to talk about fucking torture? I had everything into Brisbane 13 plus. Tipped to me as an absolute moral throughout the week. I had horses into it. I had horses that scratch into it. And I thought I could go to, I had a 4-year-old combined birthday party, not mine. Had to attend, got to talk.
Yep.
How you going? Blah, blah, blah. I'm bad with names as it is when I'm trying. I thought the Foxtel Go app would work on my phone, but I forgot that I flipped it to the iPad.
Oh, no.
Then I couldn't remember the password whilst I'm trying to like climb up and down these jumping castle things with Lenny. Then I'm trying to reset it, and it's not coming because there's not good enough reception in this big warehouse thing I'm in. Then I had to download. I gave up and downloaded the app, that like a radio app, so I could listen to it. So I'm listening to it, getting absolute daggers from Ems, like filthy deluxe. And I'm listening to a call of the Titans putting on one of the great performances of all time to jam me right in the denuster. So, yeah, I spent Sunday afternoon listening to Money disappear whilst following my 2-year-old, 3-year-old around a jumping castle joint, while every now and again my 5-year-old would flash past me at a rate of knots, running into other kids, and it was just no good.
Proper torture. I haven't told you this. When you said that,
you better not be on the fucking Titans here.
I was on the Titans for the early crow slide, and I backed him head to head. And
why? How?
When I saw, I don't know. I just had a feeling that they might get the job done, and I just thought the odds were a bit ridiculous. But when you sent that message through in the morning, I was like, oh, yep. So Dicko's had a few bets here into Broncos 13+. And I was like, do I say anything? Do I not say anything? I'm like, nah, let him go, because he'll probably be right, and my cash will be dust. I had a tiny bet on it, but I was roaring hard, and yeah, geez, it was a. If you weren't on Broncos or on Broncos 13+, and not because I had cash on the other side either, but it was a good game of NRL to watch late or early on a Sunday, I should say.
It's 2 o'clock game. It wasn't good to watch. Yeah. Yeah,
it was good. Good if you're a neutral supporter, but. Mate, the Sharkies finally got obliterated, which is what you've been half thinking might happen.
True, but I tipped the Sharks because my man talked me into it. Actually, I wrote Panthers down and I changed.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah, yeah, just
one of those weekends.
No good. Pratty, you got any idea about the origin at all?
No, I don't.
Rule number one, don't force it.
Don't force it.
Don't force it. If you don't know what you're talking about, don't force it.
Yeah, nah. I don't. The only thing I did hear was listening to the Hello Sport podcast when I was going out for a light trot. I mean, it's probably a heavy trot with the amount of extra baggage I'm carrying at the moment, but they read out some of the ages of the likes like Xavier Coates, Reece Walsh, Selwyn Cobbo, all those boys for the Queensland side, and shit, they might be around for a long time. I think the oldest was Xavier Coates. He's only 23 years old. So Queensland look like they might have a good team for a long, long time.
They are. They're favourites. I love Jake Trbojevic as captain of the Blues. The rest of it, there's a lot of hoo-ha about it. We'll get into a lot more Origin chat on next week's show when T. Papley returns from his mid-season bye. I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's episode of The Early Crow. It was episode 35, brought to you by Makita. Have a phenomenal week and be nice to each other. Bye for now. If you want to find out about the next purchase at Mailbag Bloodstock and race a horse with me, go to mailbagbloodstock.com.au to register your interest, or email jono@themailbag.com.au.